All right, welcome everyone. It's great to see everyone here. It's a little weird starting out without the ceremonial um, run of show, but we will continue on in the awkward silence. It's good to see everyone on screen here. Thank you, colleagues. Um, Calling the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Councilmember Rist, you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For those who wish, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we'll now go to Madam Clerk for the roll call. And
Thank
then
you,
I'll
Mr.
get
Mayor.
housekeeping things.
Okay. Mayor Williams,
I'm here.
Mayor Pro Tem Caballero.
Here.
Thank you.
You.
Councilmember Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Burris,
Present.
Councilmember Cook,
Here.
Councilmember Kopak,
Here.
Councilmember Rist.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. So before we get into the brief announcements, colleagues, just a few housekeeping matters. Obviously, this is all of our first time doing a Zoom, except Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Caballero, doing a Zoom for a city council, a formal city council meeting. And it's my first time chairing it, so I had to go back and do some homework watching Mayor Scholl and how you guys, Mayor Pro Tem, how you all did it during the pandemic. So it is a little different, but not too much. I'm still going to follow the same order. Tech will be controlling our back end, DTN. So Viv is here. The only difference really is when it comes for us to vote. I will call each of you by name for you to affirm your vote, your preference, and the clerk will record that and then report it out. And it'll need to be, whatever your preference of the vote, a vocal yay or nay, a or nay. And just so you all know, the chat feature will be disabled. However, colleagues, if you're a panelist, then you'll be able to communicate. You can let me know if you want to address you have a comment you want to make, just shoot me a message, but more so I'll be trying to look and follow on the screen. But of course, with Zoom, it kind of moves you around on the screen. But we are in webinar format, so there are a lot of people watching, and we'll be elevated to the panel when it's time for them to speak. And our team will handle that on the back end. But otherwise, we'll just go on with the business per usual. Thank you, Amy. I just got your email. All right. And we did remove all the ceremonial items from the agenda. We'll be able to do those in person when we return. Thank you. All right. First up, I'll just follow on my screen here, Councilmember Kopak. Brief remarks, 2 minutes or so.
Sure. Thank you. I know we're keeping these announcements brief. I just want to send a thank you to Heart and Open Table Ministry for their work taking care of our unhoused neighbors during the recent storms. I had the opportunity to volunteer during the ice storm and see them in action and hear stories from our unhoused neighbors, including their gratitude that programs like this exist. Thank you to all our frontline workers who are out plowing streets, helping neighbors address safety concerns, performing other critical services as they always do. And I appreciate all the energy in the public square in response to the horrific attacks in Minneapolis to send a message that we are here in solidarity and also here to show up for each other in Durham. So I've been moved and motivated to be out there with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Burris.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Good to see you all virtually from the comfort of our own homes and the warmth of our own homes. Happy Black History Month. Super excited to start off with that recognition, thinking about the shoulders of those who I stand on in this community, but also the ancestors who come from far and abroad. Associating myself with many of my colleague, Councilmember Kopac's statements, expressing gratitude to our city workers. While we were in the warmth of our own homes, or some of us maybe figuring things out, they were out working hard, clearing our roads and making sure that we all were safe. So that's not lost upon us. So definitely want to extend gratitude. But for all the folks who were actually out and about this weekend to make sure our neighbors who are unhoused or who need support were able to receive resources, we definitely extend our gratitude to you and we appreciate you for all your hard work. So that was under 2 minutes, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I promise to be brief. So there we go.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Councilmember Rist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. Yes, I want to add to my colleagues in recognizing Black History Month. There are many activities going on, as folks know. One of those activities is Transit Equity Day, which is this Wednesday, February the 4th. That's also Rosa Parks' birthday. Here in Durham, there'll be an event at 12:30 p.m. at Reese City, organized by Bike Durham, that involves installing a community-built bench at a bus stop in Durham. So check out Bike Durham if you're interested in that. I also want to say real quick, it's also tax time, as folks know. So I want to say a word about tax time and tax justice in Durham. Annually in Durham, over 157,000 federal income tax forms are filed. Based on our most recent data that we have, about 13% of those filings, or about 21,000 returns, claim the earned income tax credit. And about 10% of returns, or about 16,000 returns in Durham, claim the refundable child tax credit. Together, these credits returned over $82 million in federal credits to working families in Durham, or roughly $2,200 per household. We also know that 20% of eligible taxpayers don't claim the EITC, and about 10% of taxpayers don't claim the child tax credit. I'll be talking about this more, but a new coalition in Durham called the Durham Benefits Access Coalition has been ramping up efforts to make sure all eligible households in Durham file their taxes this year and claim the tax credits they're entitled to. Along with these tax credits, the federal government is also funding $1,000 savings accounts for all newborns born since January 1, 2025. And those are also accessed by filing out a form of new tax return. So stay tuned for more information, but these are big tax savings and big tax-based benefits that we want all residents of Durham to take advantage of. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And thank you for those remarks. As you know, we have some big announcements coming up really soon about that and some awards that we've won for that. So stay tuned, as the council member stated. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to my colleagues for your comments. Associate myself with all of those comments. Happy Black History Month. Many thanks to our city workers, those who have been out. Again, while many of us have been in the comfort of our homes, people who've been out in the streets, making sure that things keep working in our city, that the city keeps working, and all of the work that's been done to help those who are most vulnerable in our community, our unhoused neighbors, and everyone else. So thank you so much to all of our city workers, our partners, people volunteering their time, everyone going that extra effort to make sure that that things keep running while folks are able to stay home. Lastly, just thanks to everyone who's made this meeting happen, who did this quick pivot to Zoom. This is my first time doing a council meeting on Zoom. I think the rest of our colleagues, other than Councilmember Caballero, so Mayor Pro Tem Caballero. So thanks to everyone for making this happen, and thanks to the public also for coming out to watch on Zoom rather than being in the chambers. So much appreciated for that. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Cook.
Thank you. Yes, most of my comments have been stated already. I do want to say that I'm wearing a very puffy situation because my heat is having trouble keeping up with the temperature. Sorry about the dress, but it is what it is. I also just want to echo what everyone said. Happy Black History Month. And also a big thanks to both city staff and our community partners who have just been working tirelessly. I went to the Homelessness Services Advisory, whatever, HSAC that I sit on, I should know the name of. and everyone was exhausted last Wednesday. We had only been halfway through the week. And I just want to give a shout out to every single person who's been involved in any part of this weather related, getting folks who are generally unhoused into safe spaces. It's been a real haul. I know that it is like the lift has been really heavy, and we've had some staff that have just been working around the clock, part taking people to those shelters, and then all of our community partners who've been willing to staff those shelters, and then really every department in Durham that we've had to get involved because of various things happening or going wrong. So I just want to echo everyone's thanks, and also to our city workers who have been plowing our streets, did a great job, and our sanitation workers who had to keep up or to do extra work in order to get back on schedule after the last storm, and I'm sure we'll do so this week as well. So incredible effort by everybody, and we've learned so much in this process. I'm really excited to have that disaster preparedness moving forward. So thank you, everyone, and I look forward to a good meeting.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll be very brief. Good to be with you. I will only be with you all briefly this evening. Since we are virtual, I was able to join for part of it. Just want to extend a deep sense of gratitude to all our city workers. I know how hard it is to get through these snowstorms, get through these weather events, and also get these meetings on Zoom in such a quick fashion. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'm looking forward to all of the events coming up this year. Just got back from the U.S. Conference of Mayors and spent a great deal of time with just mayors across the country singing the same tune about what's happening in our communities. Standing alongside Mayor Fry of Minneapolis and Brandon Johnson, Brandon Scott, just a lot of friends, a lot of my friends across the country. I know that we're all on the same page, and what we're going through in Durham, it's no different than what others are going through across the country. It's giving me hope, the fire that I feel in my other colleagues across the country. So I look forward to all of us continuing to work together to protect our community, keep it safe. Shout out to Eric Fuller. He works with the Environmental Street Services team. He took me out on the I don't know what you call this machine, but it does a lot at the same time. It has the plow, it has the treatment coming out of the back. It's all-wheel drive, and it's a lot of moving parts all at once. And we went on, we did a shift, and man, I'm just really grateful for all of the work that goes into keeping our streets as clear as possible. To our staff, or just I want to say public works, but environmental street services team, for just the skill set it takes with all of the heavy machinery for this weekend and last weekend and throughout the entire time. Our city and county staff, our nurses, our heart team, even when our heart team had to take over an entire center, when we're not staffed for 24 hours a day, 24/7. Excuse me, not even staffed for 24/7 yet. They were working 24/7, tired, exhausted, just trying to keep from getting sick. Shout out to what makes Durham so great. I'm so grateful for our teams. And I was in DC a bit of last week, and I'm just glad that I live in Durham and the way that our teams work. They're really, really good at what they do, and the way we clean the streets. All right, more to come. There are lots of announcements coming up as we get into February regarding awards that we've won, and I look forward to holding a press conference, and I'll invite the public to those really, really soon. All right, I will pass it over to Manager Ferguson for your priority items.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. Great to see you this evening. First, I want to acknowledge and thank you for all the compliments that you've shared for our staff, and I want to amplify them. I'm so proud to be associated with these employees who've been serving the public so faithfully over the last 10 days. It's a great thing for public safety when winter weather comes on a weekend, because a lot of folks stay home, but not necessarily a great thing for public employees who spend their week working and then spend their weekend working too. So I want to thank them. We've been working hard to support them, make sure they have what they need to do their jobs. Want to also thank the comments in particular around efforts to protect our unhoused neighbors. extremely proud of the work that's happened over the last 2 weekends to really ramp up, and that was such a team effort, but great leadership from our staff. And then finally, to amplify also your compliments to the staff who have made tonight's Zoom meeting possible. It was a quick pivot. It is made possible by the governor's declaration of emergency that is in effect. As long as that is in effect, North Carolina local governments are allowed to make this pivot, and it allows us to move on with important business, but not make people make the trip to City Hall when conditions might not be appropriate. So thank you to all those staff, to all those teams, and to council members for your flexibility tonight and allowing this to move forward. I do want to amplify the announcement we made earlier today, which is there will be a 2-hour delayed opening for city facilities tomorrow. We will be opening at 10 a.m., but then it will be business as usual, and we anticipate a quick return to normalcy for the rest of the week based on the forecast. So with that, let me read my priority items for the evening. First, for agenda item number 10, this is the contract with Peregrine Technologies, Inc. to procure an operations management platform for the Durham City Police Department. I am requesting this item be referred back to staff, and it is no longer being considered or put forward by the staff. And for agenda item number 19, this is a zoning map change, the Creekside mixed use development. The applicant has advised that they wish to seek a continuance tonight, so we are requesting that this item be heard first among the public hearing items, so that can be considered and move forward before the rest of the public hearing items proceed. Those are my items for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Attorney.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. It's good to be with you. The City Attorney's Office does not have any priority items tonight.
Madam Clerk.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. The City Clerk's Office as well has no priority items this evening.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, I will resume with the consent agenda, and let's see how I can do this.
Mayor, I do believe, because my priority item recommended a change to tonight's agenda, that
That's right,
it does
yes.
require the council to vote on my priority item as to whether or not to accept my recommendations.
You are correct. Excuse me. So, just Madam Attorney, I don't read that item. I'm just approving or calling a question for the manager's priority items, correct?
That's correct. You're just entertaining a motion to refer the item back to staff.
Good. I'll entertain a motion to accept the manager's priority items.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it was moved by Councilmember Rist and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Caballero. All right, Madam Clerk, you got that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Take a vote.
Is there a question? Is there a question for
Councilmember Cook.
Thank you. I just want to address briefly, because there's been some folks in the community that have been asking about why this was done this way. And so I just want to state that I feel totally confident in this choice by the manager to move this back. I think that this was a great idea to ensure that our meeting stays focused tonight, because the staff heard an overwhelming consensus on council, not consensus, but an overwhelming majority on council that did not want to move forward with this contract. I feel okay also about not having discussion on it, even though I do understand that some people would have wished to have been heard, only because we had this at a work session and did have an opportunity for public comment previously. I had also reserved my comments to be here tonight, so I totally understand the frustration that folks are having. But I do think that this has been the majority of the communication that we've gotten aligns with this decision. So just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Rist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, if I could as well. Yeah. Thanks, Councilmember Cook, for your comments there. Yeah, we did receive a number of comments from residents and had a number of communications back and forth. Just want to assure folks that we read all those messages, or at least I read them, carefully and responded to many. So really appreciate the input on that, and also appreciate the wisdom of the manager in referring this back to staff.
Thank you all. Yes, we received all of the messages in email, in person. I appreciate the great diversity around this. Whenever there is not clarity, whether no matter how we got to the point of not having clarity or not, I can appreciate staff listening to the sentiments of the council and making a move such as this. And colleagues, I appreciate you all for obliging on this as well. It's been moved and properly seconded. I do have to do voice votes. So I'll just go on my screen. Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak.
Aye.
Councilmember Burris.
Aye.
Councilmember Fergus. No, your manager. Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Caballero.
Aye.
And I, myself, Madam Clerk.
The vote passes unanimously 7-0.
Thank you so much. All right. At this time, I'll read the consent agenda. All right. Durham Performing Arts Center Oversight Committee appointments. That's number one. Number two, Mayor's Council for Women appointment. Number three, approval of City Council minutes. Number four, contract ST 342 street repairs and repaving 2026 to 2024 bond referendum. Number five, contract ST 343 pavement preservation 2026. Number six, contract amendment number one for ST 334C utility locate services 2025. Number seven, contract ST 342C pavement management CEI services 2026. Okay. Number eight, resolution accepting the North Carolina Land and Water Fund grant to construct the South LB Stormwater Project. Number nine, second amendment to interlocal cooperation agreement with the Housing Authority of the City of Durham to procure and install security equipment. Number nine, that was number nine. Number 11, purchase contract with Palmetto Bus Sales LLC for 5 replacement light transit vehicles for Go Durham Access. Like to see that. Okay. Number 10 has been referred back. Number 14, RTP 3.0, a privately initiated Unified Development Ordinance, UDO text amendment. Number 15, TC 2500002, RV parking amendment. Number 16, consolidated annexation 938 McLam Drive. Number 17, consolidated annexation Curly Gardens. Okay. Number 18, consolidated annexation 3600 Pine View Circle. Number 19, zoning map change, Creekside mixed use, which we'll hear first of those presentations. All right. Before I entertain a motion, Madam Clerk, a couple of things. Because I am voting, I am going to pass the calling of the vote to you to let you do what you normally do, what you're accustomed to doing. And also, if you can remind me of which items were pulled.
Okay, first off, the items pulled are 1, 2, 5, and 9 from the consent agenda.
Those items have speakers, correct? And then we have our public hearings.
Yes, these are from the consent agenda.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of items 1, 2, 5, and 9.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. And a clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Caballero. Is she with us?
Okay, she's off. And just also another housekeeping thing. Council members, if you go off camera, like when I ran and got water, if you took a vote when I ran to get some water, my vote doesn't count. So if you go off screen, you have to be on, we all have to be on screen in order to participate. And also Councilmember Caballero, unlike in person, she's no longer with us. Her vote is not considered a yes vote for the remainder of the meeting. Is that right, Madam Clerk?
That's correct.
Okay.
Moving on, Councilmember Baker.
We've got a couple hands up.
Let's finish the vote and then, well, let me ask you this. Colleagues, are your comments in discussion to the consent agenda?
No, it's just asking, can you pin us so we can all just be top on display? Because everyone's moving. So that's my only request, to keep it easier to see our actual colleagues on council. Can you pin us?
I just pinned you and that messed my screen up. I don't think.
We got it. The agenda coordinator's working on that. We just got a message.
Mr. Mayor, I'll start the roll call vote again.
Thank you.
Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Caballero stepped away. Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Cook.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So if is it different than the normal rules? So if we step away, we do not have, our vote does not count as an aye? Because I know Mayor Pro Tem Caballero got an excused absence. So I know her vote doesn't count as an aye, but for us, if we step away and miss, would it automatically count as an aye?
I don't think it counts.
That's correct. Hello, Councilmember Cook. So the remote meetings statute is slightly different than your usual voting statute, which is that 168-75. The remote meetings law requires that you be simultaneously connected and communicating with the body on the remote feed during the voting process. So unless you are, if you step away to get water, theoretically, yes, there could be a situation where it counts as an aye, but because there's another provision in that statute that also demands the roll call vote during a remote meeting, I think what we should observe is that you all will be polled in roll call for your vote. It's
Okay, thank you.
It's a little complicated. The statute's not perfectly written, but
Gotcha. I'm
yeah.
following. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Mayor Williams,
You're muted.
Mayor, you're muted.
Sorry. Manager Ferguson, regarding your priority items, that was when we get to the public hearing, correct? Public hearings, that number 19 go
Yes.
first? Okay.
Correct. Yes, when we get to public hearings, we're requesting number 19 be the first one heard. Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask that you help me out one more thing. It's just too many screens to look at. If you can identify the speakers. I know you sent it via email, and I'll try to split my screen, but it's going to be a lot.
Mr. Mayor, Jacob Cardenas is the speaker to item number 1.
Okay. Jacob, can you hear us? Okay, here we go. Jacob, can you unmute yourself, Cardenas? Oh, he's listed as a resource person. Okay.
No, but
Williams,
he's
I have
also listed as an opponent.
All right, let's clarify. Are they resource or opponent? Are they?
Mr.
Jacob?
Cardenas needs to clarify.
All right. Mr. Cardenas, can you unmute yourself? All right. I will come back to item number 1. I won't call for a question on it just yet. Item number 2. Who do we have there?
Fiona Longren.
Can you hear us?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Just real quick before you start, Ms. Lundgren, did you unmute yourself or did you have to receive permission to unmute?
I received permission. It came up on my screen.
Okay. Thanks for pointing that out, Councilmember Cook. So we'll see if we can do the same for Mr. Jacob. All right. Feel free to go ahead and get us started. You have 3 minutes.
Oh, this might be a little bit of misconfusion. I'm just here to kind of take notes on what's going on in the city for a news article. So it wouldn't let me actually register for the Zoom unless I put myself down as a speaker.
No
So
worries.
I have nothing to say, but
You're
thank you so
super
much.
engaged. All right. Sounds good. All right. So, colleagues, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Tamara G. to the Mayor's Council for Women, representing at large with the term to expire June 30, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams.
Here. I'm sorry.
Councilmember-
Aye.
Ready?
Aye. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Next, how many speakers do we have for number 5, Madam Clerk?
Just one.
Okay. Could you identify the person?
Samaria McKenzie.
Hi, Ms. McKenzie. Can you hear us?
Hi guys, I can hear you.
Oh, there you are. Welcome. You have 3 minutes. Can you speak up a little bit for me?
Yeah, I can. You can also try to adjust my volume, but that might not go so well. So I'll just try to springing here. I hope you guys can hear me. I signed up to speak for both agendas 4 and 5 because they are both infrastructure contracts. And so I think what I have to say is pretty relevant for both. And thank you for your time. I'm Samara McKenzie, a longtime resident and fan of Durham. I live in Hayti Village, and I want to make it clear that I am not opposed to the city investing in infrastructure. I'm hoping to encourage transparency, equity, and accountability, especially in historically underserved neighborhoods like Hayti. On today's agenda, items 4 and 5 include a $13.5 million contract to Fred Smith Company and $5.7 million contract to Slurry Pavers Incorporated. The maps and documents provided in today's agenda clearly show which neighborhoods and streets will be paved, along with a 365-day timeline for project completion and a full itemized breakdown of project costs, even down to the materials required, which is awesome. What I don't see is that same level of detail, transparency, and accountability for all infrastructure projects, especially those going on in Hayti and other low-income areas. Work in my neighborhood specifically and along the Fayetteville Street corridor appears to be handled differently, folded into existing corridor projects or community-led initiatives rather than treated as a direct city responsibility. And the result of this work is often poorly scoped, inconsistently executed, and sometimes left unfinished. And like streets throughout my neighborhood like mine were dug up just this past fall, repaired incorrectly, torn up again, and abandoned. Massey Avenue has been left bare for months, and we really don't have a concrete or clear timeline for completion. Meanwhile, in more gentrified areas of Ward 1, full neighborhood asphalt and sidewalk repairs happen without residents even needing to request. And as I look at the streets and areas listed for items 4 and 5, I see more neighborhoods with vastly higher median incomes and gentrification than neighborhoods like mine. Since Durham is issuing bonds to fund these projects, which means higher property taxes that Hayti residents also pay, including myself, And since our taxes are rising at the same rate as residents in already gentrified neighborhoods, then I believe our streets should be treated fairly, consistently, and not like an afterthought. And so I will conclude with some questions that I hope the council can address either tonight or at some point, and I'm happy to send them through email. One, where is this itemized breakdown for Hittite Village? If it exists, where can residents find it? And if not, where, why are other neighborhoods receiving mapped capital grade investments like, these very detailed plans, which again is amazing to see. I'd also like to understand how we are vetting our contractors, which contractors were hired for Hayti.
Mr. Mayor, the time is up.
Thank you, Ms. McKenzie. Madam Clerk, is there a timer option that we have that can be on screen?
No, I'm using my cell phone.
Okay. All right. That was the only speaker, correct? Let's
Correct.
see. All right, colleagues, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to execute a contract for ST 343 Pavement Preservation 2026 with Slurry Pavers Incorporated in the amount of $5,678,988.60.
So moved.
Second.
And moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
The motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Next item, number 9. I have 2 speakers. Okay, two speakers and 2 resource people. All right, Angel Isette Dozier.
Good evening,
Welcome.
City Council. Can you all hear me?
Yes, welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Good evening. So I'm speaking in opposition to item number 9. What I understand about this project, I remember it pretty clearly. Community members organized and engaged around this, and the request that came directly from residents was for more and better lighting, not cameras. And somehow it looks like this is like security equipment that includes cameras here. So lighting was definitely identified as a tool that would improve safety, visibility, and quality of life. But cameras in security equipment wasn't. It was not the community ask. I've since spoken to some residents about this, and they reiterated that more and better lighting is what they've been asking for, not cameras, not surveillance equipment. And I do find it concerning that this item is it's nearly 3 years later, and it makes it difficult for there to be an audit by participatory budgeting, and it makes it difficult to verify that this outcome reflects what the residents have asked for. So I'm just wanting to say that I live adjacent to this community, and surveillance infrastructure disproportionately impacts Black and low-income communities and expands systems of monitoring without preventing harm. Cameras document incidents after the fact. Lighting helps prevent them without criminalizing the people who live there. If the city is committed to honoring participatory budgeting and community voice, the path forward is clear. Fund what the residents ask for, and that's better lighting, more lighting, better lighting, and more lighting. Not cameras, not surveillance equipment, but better lighting and more lighting. Better lighting and more lighting. Better lighting and more lighting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Sean Buchanan. No, that's
He's resource.
The resource.
all right.
Okay.
Let's see. Colleagues, I'll now entertain a motion to resolve that the city manager is authorized to execute the second amendment to the interlocal cooperation agreement with the Housing Authority of the City of Durham to increase project funding by $20,000 for a total authorized amount not to exceed $130,000.
So moved.
Second. All right, it's been moved and properly seconded.
Mr. Mayor, I didn't hear the second.
I did it.
Oh, okay. The vote, Mayor Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Thank you. 6-0.
Thank you. All right, so we will now go into our public hearings and we'll hear number 19 first. All right, we are ready for the staff report. This is zoning map change, Creekside mixed use. I'm sorry,
That's
manager.
correct.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, Aaron Kane with the Planning Department. I'll start off by saying that all Planning Department items for tonight's meeting have been advertised in accordance with state and local law, and affidavits are on file to that effect. A request for a zoning map change has been received from Laura Holloman of McAdams for 12 parcels of land totaling 75.5 acres and located between Miami Boulevard and Angier Avenue. The current zoning is residential suburban 20 and residential suburban multifamily with a development plan. The applicant proposes to change this designation to Plan Development Residential 8.346. The applicant is proposing to rezone the properties to allow up to 630 townhouses, apartments, and two-family dwellings with up to 9,500 square feet of non-residential uses, excluding drive-through facilities and convenience stores with gasoline sales. The properties are currently designated mixed-use neighborhood on the place type map. The proposed Plan Development Residential 8.346 zoning is generally consistent with the designated place type. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for questions, though I believe the applicant will be asking for a continuance.
All right, thank you for that report. Madam Attorney, do we open it up for a public hearing to request for the continuance, or do I just address the request?
Hi, Mr. Mayor.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I had to put my headphones on to hear. Yes, so you want to open the public hearing if the applicant wants to continue to a date certain.
Oh, and then we leave it open.
Correct.
Okay, got it. All right. Are there any technical questions or comments to staff? All right, at this time, I'll declare the public hearing open and I'll refer to the applicant. That's number 19. Resource. Is the applicant available, Laura Holloman or Stevenson or Sidhu?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. There you go.
If y'all can hear me.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Laura Holland with McAdams at 2905 Meridian Parkway here in Durham. Thank you to the city manager and staff for working with us to shuffle your order tonight so we can respectfully ask for a continuance. As luck would have it, it is not weather related. We did have, as of about a week ago, we were informed that a key person on our development team would not be able to attend this meeting, and so we would like to respectfully ask for a continuance to next month's council meeting. Or excuse me, go ahead, Aaron. You're shaking your head.
We had discussed having a continuous to the February 16th meeting, just
Yeah.
one cycle.
Yes, that's correct. I'm sorry. So I'd like to respectfully ask for a continuance to the February 16th meeting.
Okay. Yes, all right. Colleagues, are you all okay with that? Thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. It's so we'll leave this public hearing open until date February 16th. Is that right, Aaron?
That's correct, yes.
All right. Madam Clerk, I'm sending you a text message as well, just really quickly, based on an email we just got. All right. Next item. Item number 14. Okay. Before we go to item number 14, are we able to unmute Jacob Cardenas?
I will try, Mr. Mayor. Okay, he's been unmuted.
Okay, Jacob, can you hear us? Jacob, can you hear us? All right, I'll give it one more chance, and then we can just reach out. I want to honor the fact that they signed up, but we will have to move forward eventually. All right. Also, all right, we're on item number 14. RTP 3.0, a privately initiated Unified Development Ordinance, UDO text amendment. Ready for the staff report.
Good evening to the mayor, city council. My name is Robin Schultz with the Planning and Development Department, here to speak about TC 250001, which is a privately initiated text amendment request to amend multiple sections of the Unified Development Ordinance, or the UDO, in order to expand our existing university and college district frameworks and create a new zoning district, or UC3, to facilitate the inclusion of large scientific and technical research parks within that framework. This was heard by the Durham Planning Commission October 14th, 2025, and received a recommendation of approval. It was also approved unanimously by the Durham County Board of Commissioners, where it was associated with a zoning map change request for the parcels that were within the existing RTP boundaries. To be clear, those boundaries are all outside of the city limits for this request. This amendment is really being brought to you all to make sure that the UDO is cogent across both the city and the county, but it does not have measurable impacts for city properties. That being said, staff is available for any questions, and Travis Creighton from Research Triangle Park is also available should you all have any questions for the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Any technical questions or comments for staff? All right, at this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. And I'll refer to the applicant. Okay. Travis, are you available? There you go. Can you hear us, Travis?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor Williams and council members. I don't have any prepared remarks. Just as Robin said, I'm here to answer any questions that you have regarding this change to align the UDO across the city and county. So happy to field any questions that you have.
All right, colleagues, are there any questions? Item number 14. Screen. All right. Well, that's the only speaker I have, which is the resource person. So therefore, I declare the public hearing closed and back before the council, this is where I ask you if you have any questions. All right. If there are no questions, then I'll entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance, incorporating revisions to Article 4, zoning districts, Article 5, use regulations, Article 6, district intensity standards, and Article 7, design standards.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll entertain a motion to adopt a consistency statement as required by North Carolina General Statute, Section 160D-605.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Next, we have item number 15, TC 2500002, RV parking amendment.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. My name is Scott Whiteman. I'm from the Planning and Development Department. Text amendment case TC 2502 is a staff-initiated request to amend section 10.2.3 of the UDO in order to allow flexibility for RV parking in residential zoning districts. Per UDO section 10.2.3 in residential zoning districts, recreational vehicles such as boats, campers, trailers, and utility trailers shall be stored off the street and shall be located to the rear of the primary structure. The intent of this regulation is to reduce visual clutter of large vehicles in residential areas and to prevent parked vehicles from blocking sidewalks, streets, or site distances. However, this provision can be severely limiting to many property owners since driveways do not typically extend behind the primary structure, and many homes do not have sufficient space for RV storage in the rear yard. As currently drafted, the new UDO would remove this regulation. In the meantime, numerous violations of this provision have been identified in the past several months. Rather than citing multiple property owners for a violation that would no longer be applicable when the UDO becomes effective, estimated later this year, staff is recommending a minor text amendment to section 10.2.3 that would allow RV parking on a driveway, any driveway, at least 25 feet from the public right-of-way. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the text amendment at their December meeting, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the council.
Okay, thank you so much for that report. Any questions to staff? Yes, Councilmember Burris.
Yes. Just as a follow-up, I just want to know if you could give a little bit more insight around enforcement. So you said as long as it's 25 feet from the public right of way. So what does enforcement that look like, or how we move forward with handling people who are in violation of such policy, or is that just a metric we're throwing out there just gonna not gonna be enforced?
Yeah, we did work with our zoning enforcement staff, and they said it's a measurement they could do fairly easily when they're out in the field. So we would still enforce it. It is one that this is a hard one to enforce since there are so many potential places where there could be a violation. And we have about somewhere in the high 20s to almost 30 violations currently, which is why we're bringing forward this ordinance. So we do still intend to enforce it as it's written, either as amended or as it's currently written. And we feel our staff is prepared and able to do that.
Councilmember Cook.
Thank you. I actually had a question about the 25 feet too. So will that end up clearing out all or most of the current violations?
It would clear out most, if not all, of the current violations. And I will say, for full disclosure to the city council, most of those are actually outside the city limits, so your vote isn't necessarily going to affect those, but obviously there could be folks in very similar situations in the city as well.
Yeah, I think I was just wondering about how we got to that 25-foot. Sounds like y'all had a conversation with enforcement, but how did we come up with that number?
Yeah, it was a number to ensure that the vehicles would be parked far enough away from the street so they wouldn't be blocking the sight distance or sight lines. It wouldn't be right up on the sidewalk, but still would provide ample room for most properties where you can park an RV, where it would be somewhat out of the way, but still more reasonable than having to pave a spot behind your house in order to park it.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. That's everyone. All right, at this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. And so this is staff, so you all are available for questions, but I do have two speakers. First person, Kat Moore. Kat, can you hear us? There you are.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, you have 3 minutes. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the Durham City Council. My name is Kat Moore. I live in East Durham and am an RV owner. I'm thankful that the city permits us to park our RVs on our property. It's one of the reasons my husband and I bought a house in the city. I would like to thank the city for considering additional text to allow flexibility with RV parking. I'm happy that it will allow many households to have increased freedom to place their RV where it makes the most sense on their lot. I'm here today to ask the council to consider a situation not included with the current wording of the text amendment addition, corner lots. The proposed text amendment allows an option of parking on a driveway as long as the RV is 25 feet from the right of way. This wording seems like it was formulated with a typical lot in mind, which usually has one right of way at the front of the property. We live on a corner lot where we have not one but two public right of ways bordering our property, one at the front of the lot and one running down the side. We would also like to take advantage of this added flexibility of the text addition. However, if the 25-foot distance requirement applies to both right-of-ways, we are unable to have this alternate option to park on a driveway, not necessarily completely to the rear of the house, as the current ordinance restricts us. I support this text amendment and only ask that you consider if there could be wording added to allow lots like ours this option to park on a driveway, set back from the front of the house, and not necessarily completely to the rear of the primary structure. Again, I appreciate that this text amendment is being considered and that the city supports RV owners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next speaker I have is Evelyn Rosengren-Hovey. There you are. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Evelyn. Apologies, I'm losing my voice to a cold, but still wanted to stand in support of this RV amendment and ensuring the language is changed so as not to be more restrictive of corner lots. I'm standing in support of my neighbor Kat and her family. I'm also here because my wife and I also have an RV that we would like to store on the side of our house. It would fit behind a closed gate and would not obstruct the streets at all. We have spent a lot of time camping in that RV. Our kids, 8 and 4, love reading in their bunk beds in it and playing on it. And we would like to continue to be able to do that, but at our house. And to do things like do backyard campgrounds or backyard campouts. So please make it easier, not harder, for families in Durham to store their RVs on their own property. And I would ask you to pass this amendment with the updated language to be inclusive of corner lots, as Kat has asked. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council members, for considering this amendment.
Thank you so much. Those are all the speakers that I have. So therefore, I will declare the public hearing closed and back before the council. Are there any questions? Well, I'll just ask briefly to staff, is the request that they're making something that, is it an easy adjustment, or is there a reason why it wasn't in there, or is it something you guys need to go back and assess?
Mute.
Mute it.
Sorry about that. I'm having 2020 flashbacks. Yeah, so Ms. Moore did speak at the Planning Commission, so we were aware of her concerns. We were trying to craft the kind of the most minimal change possible in order to address the situation, since we didn't do a full analysis of how this might affect every property. That being said, it does, the rules do make it really hard to park on an RV on a smaller urban lot, particularly one that's on the corner. So we could, one potential suggestion, if the council wanted to entertain it, would be, we could say that it must be parked at least 25 feet from the public right of way that the driveway is accessed. That way it would only apply to the street from where your driveway curb cut is, and then that way it would not force property owners on corner lots to have the driveway be 25 feet from every street.
Yeah, this government speak stuff sometimes can overcomplicate things. If it's an easy fix, and the staff, you okay with it? Colleagues, I'm fine with it if you all are, unless there's reservations. Mr. Kopak.
I think Councilmember Riss went up before me. Oh, wait, after him.
Okay.
Yeah, let me jump. Yes, I support that language, Scott. I guess my other question would be, remind me what the new UDO will say about RV parking.
Well, so our intent is to carry over whatever is approved through this amendment. We're not proposing to carry over the existing language. It was not something that came up where people park RVs. Is not an issue that's come up a lot in our engagement on the UDO or the comprehensive plan. So
we would carry over the language that as amended to the new UDO.
That's right.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Councilmember Kopak.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I want to understand if what Mr. Whiteman has just proposed would address the concerns of the residents who spoke this evening. That's not completely clear to me. Is there a way we can verify that?
Let's see.
Okay, looking.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we would do that in the virtual environment. We could do
I
in
guess
real
what I'm
life, we could
thinking
do
is
a huddle.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know if it did align. I think even if it doesn't, I'm supportive of moving the original amendment forward because it seems like it handles the majority of cases. And it sounds like this is something that could be returned to, and there's no reason it couldn't be addressed at a later date if we want to refine this language. That's my thought, unless you tell me that that is inefficient to do it that way, and you'd rather do it whole cloth.
No, I think that's a very good solution. Councilmember Kopak, as we alluded to earlier, the new UDO is due for adoption later this year, and so what we plan to carry forward, whatever was approved with this, but it's also an issue. It can also be changed to be more permissive, if you all or the county commissioners would like at that time too.
Coming right to you, Councilmember Burrs, if you would just let me ask a clarifying question on this point. So the request of the constituents, Councilmember Kopak, are you saying what is proposed tonight, you're supportive of that in holding off on the additional language that was requested?
Well, I'm not clear if what Mr. Whiteman has proposed will address the specific case of the corner lots that we're talking about. it seems like it gives even more flexibility for corner lots, but it isn't clear to me that that addresses the whole issue with the corner lot. And absent that verification, I'd recommend we go forward with the original language and then seek to clarify this in a way that satisfies the resident request if it also then meets the other factors that the planning department has to consider when it comes to safety and RV parking.
Okay, let me go to Councilmember Burris, but I want to come back to that, just to get some clarity on what we're asking to move forward with.
Yeah, so just to associate myself with much what Councilmember Kopak has stated, I am comfortable with moving forward with the amendment as it's written, but I feel as though I may have heard that you all may not have researched the component about the corner lot completely. So I would need more details to make a informed decision, but also to give other folks in communities who live, we know our neighborhoods are changing drastically. And so to give other folks who are maybe impacted by this decision time to speak in opposition they so desire. So I think that is where I'm unready at in this moment. If we do decide to change language, I don't feel comfortable without giving other residents the opportunity to weigh in about what the impact of this change could do. Because I just know that I've heard some complaints from people in neighborhoods, not around RVs, but like tractor trailer parking on corner lots and like just what it does, especially in school environments or narrow streets. And so I want to make sure that we are being equitable in the outcome and moving forward with this.
Okay, it sounds like, so what I'll do is I'll entertain the motion as written. And if there's interest to add the other, then is Scoggins a staff person? Okay. Was that a staff person that raised their hand or someone else? I'm not sure. My screen is moving around.
Mr. Mayor, I believe it was a staff person.
Okay.
I apologize. It was an error.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. All right. So what I'll do, if there is a request to change, then vote this down, I believe. But otherwise, I'm going to call the question for what the motion actually is.
So we're voting on the amended language prepared for us by staff in this.
Yes, I move that we recommend and support.
Hold on 1 second. So this is, so I'll entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance, incorporating revisions to Article 10, parking and loading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, and I'll entertain a motion to adopt a consistency statement as required by North Carolina General Statute 160D-605.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams, Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Thank you. It passes 6-0.
You're muted, Mayor.
Just reading away on silent. All right, number 16, Consolidated Annexation 938 McLam Drive. Ready for the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor Williams and honorable council members. Good evening. I am Peyton Burgess with the Planning and Development Department, and I am happy to be here with you tonight. A request for a utility extension agreement, voluntary annexation, and initial zoning map change has been received from Juan Cornejo, an individual landowner for one parcel of land totaling 0.46 acres and located at 938 McLam Drive. This annexation petition is for a contiguous expansion of the primary corporate limits. The current zoning is residential suburban 20, county jurisdiction. The applicant proposes to change this designation to residential suburban 20 city jurisdiction to connect to city water and sewer. The property is currently designated established residential on the place type map. The proposed RS20 zoning is generally consistent with the designated use shown on the place type map. If the proposed zoning is approved, there will be no change to the place type designation of established residential. As part of this annexation petition, the applicant is not seeking a change in the underlying zoning district. A direct translational zoning is one in which the existing county zoning is translated to the identical city zoning district upon the annexation of the property into the city limits. A translational zoning does not include a development plan, and any future development may proceed according to what the zoning would allow. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
Thank you. Any technical questions? Staff? All right. Well, I'll declare the public hearing open. And I have a resource person here, Juan Cornejo. Joan Cornejo. All right. Right. Give me 1 second here. Okay, that's just a resource person. I guess no comments are necessarily needed at this time, so therefore I will declare the public hearing closed. And back before the council. Council, are there any questions? All right. Therefore, I'll entertain a motion to conduct a public, no, I'll entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance annexing 938 McLam Drive into the city of Durham and to authorize the city manager to enter into a utility extension agreement with JC Construction LLC.
So moved.
Second.
And moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. And I'll also entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance by taking property out of the residential suburban 20 Falls Jordan District B watershed protection overlay county jurisdiction and establishing the same as residential suburban 20 Falls Jordan District B watershed protection overlay city jurisdiction.
So moved.
Second.
And moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Sorry. Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
It passes 6-0.
Thank you. And I'll also entertain a motion, lastly, to adopt a consistency statement as required by North Carolina General Statute 160D-605.
Move to adopt consistency.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please open the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
thank you. Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Thank you. Sorry, motion passes 6-0.
Thank you so much. All right, moving along. Item number 17, consolidated annexation Curly Gardens. Get ready for the staff report.
Good evening, Mayor Williams, members of council. Aaron Kane with you again for the second time tonight from the Planning and Development Department. A request has for a utility extension agreement, voluntary annexation, and initial zoning map change has been received from Patrick Biker of Morningstar Law Group for one parcel of land totaling 1.678 acres and located at 5200 Curly Road. This annexation petition is not contiguous to the primary corporate limits, but is contiguous to a satellite portion of the city. The current zoning is residential suburban multifamily county jurisdiction. The applicant proposes to annex the parcel and establish residential suburban multifamily as the initial city zoning for the parcel to connect to city water. The properties are currently designated apartment and townhouse neighborhood on the place type map. The proposed RSM zoning is generally consistent with the designated use shown on the place type map. If the proposed zoning is approved, there will be no change to the place type designation of apartment and townhouse neighborhood. As part of this annexation petition, the applicant is not seeking a change in the underlying zoning district. That translational zoning does not include a development plan, and any future development may proceed according to what the zoning would allow. While the current use of the property is apartments, future development under the existing zoning of RSM allows for some agricultural activities, single-family and multifamily residential development. Limited commercial and civic uses are allowed. However, industrial development is prohibited. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
Thank you. You've heard the staff report. Are there any technical questions or comments to staff? All right. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. And we have the applicant. Mr. Biker.
Hello.
Hey.
Good
Hello.
evening.
Yeah, welcome. How much time do you think you need?
Just under 5 minutes, Mayor, and my friend and client Leah Bergman would actually like to deliver the comments tonight. So if our friends in the clerk's office could please unmute Leah Bergman, she'll give our presentation, and then both of us will be happy to answer any questions that the council may have. We respectfully ask for your approval, and we thank you for your time tonight. So,
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you please put 7 minutes on the clock? Madam Clerk, do you have that up for me?
Mr. Mayor, the clock is up.
Okay. Welcome. Ms. Bergman, do you have access?
I believe. Can you hear me, Mayor Williams?
Welcome. Yeah, welcome. You can go ahead and get started.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. First slide, please. Good evening, Mayor Williams and members of City Council. My name is Leah Bergman, and it is my family and my family's legal entities that have brought forward this request for annexation tonight for the parcel located at 5200 Curley Road. The legal entities Southern Repair Service Incorporated and Leray Bergman LLC acquired Curley Gardens Apartments last year in 2025. Curley Gardens Apartments are a 36 multi-family community. The units are 2-bedroom, 1 bath. We are very fortunate that we have a large playground on site, a picnic grilling area, as well as a laundry and a fitness room. The site is located across the street from Forest View Elementary School. Aaron, Mr. Kane, would it be possible to go to the next slide, please? Hopefully we can get you all a visual. Is anyone able to control the slides?
I should be able to control the slides, but for some reason they are not advancing. Let me try. There we go.
Okay, thank you very much. Curley Gardens is priced at an affordable rental price point, with the 2-bedroom units currently renting around $1,300 per month. As many of you know, our legal entities own and operate market rate as well as affordable housing in Durham County, Wake County, and Western North Carolina. Aaron, if you could advance to the next slide, please. Perfect. Thank you so much. The parcel we are discussing tonight is highlighted in green, and it has been served by City of Durham sewer for decades. The current water situation is that there is a community well for water. I do not view a well structure for 36 families when there is city water located 500 feet from the parcel as a sustainable and best option to serve Curley Gardens residents. Now that we do have the aerial, I just want you all to familiarize yourselves a little bit. Straight across the street from the highlighted green is one of the parking communities for Forest View Elementary School. So that's slightly to the east. And to the north is the Pruitt Rehab Facility Center. And the connection that I'm asking to establish to is just at the intersections of the roads right there of Curly and Mount Sinai Road. Back to my story on the well. If power goes out to the well, or if a well pump fails, the residents are left without water. And 36 families without water is not a desirable situation for a housing provider. Therefore, I am requesting tonight that you approve the annexation permit request that would permit my legal entities at our cost to run the city water line down to 5200 Curly Road. This request was recommended for approval unanimously in late 2025 by the Planning Commission. Now, I would like to give you all some history of my family and Curly Road. I myself grew up on Curly Road, and members of my family live at Curly Road to this day. The parcel just slightly to the north and to the west is 5022 Curly Road. And I lived there for many years of my life, both in childhood and as an adult when I returned to this community from New York. It is approximately 500 feet from the parcel we are discussing this evening. Members of my family and the legal entity that own 5200 Curly Road, Curly Gardens Apartments, continue to live on Curly Road to this day, including my mother, Ellie Bergman, who lives at 4829 Curly Road. My sister, Rebecca Bergman Jones, currently owns the parcel that we discussed that I grew up at, as she did as well, at 5022 Curly Road. And my brother, Michael Bergman, and his family own 5000 Curly Road. Our family has owned land and houses for over 4 decades in this community. I make these points so that you understand that we have a heavily vested interest in this area and have for a very long period of time. Many times you have developers before you who do not live local. We're the opposite, and we will continue to and will have a vested interest in this community. I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have for me and to respond to any concerns that my neighbors might have. As you all know, Patrick Biker from Morningstar is also here, and he can assist with any questions regarding the formal legal requests that we have for annexation. Once again, we ask for your approval and thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you so much. All right, let's. All right, so Madam Clerk, the following names I'm going to need to bring up. Christina Langley, John Brown, Catherine Olive, Ken Pugh, Henrietta Sparacino, and Melora McCall. So starting first with Christina Langley.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for...
Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Christina Falcone Langley. I'm a lifelong and proud Durham resident that lives right down the road off of Curly Road as well. I'd like to point out that staff previously requested that the applicant provide documentation demonstrating both the current affordability of these units and how affordability would be maintained going forward. To date, that documentation has not been provided. The community benefit associated with these NOAA units already exists today. What is before you is not a proposal that creates new affordability protections or secures long-term affordability. Rather, the annexation petition and the consideration of extending service to a satellite site do not clearly demonstrate an added community benefit tied to these units. In fact, based on the available information, this action is more likely to undermine the existing NOAA over time. While the narrative presented focuses on maintaining affordability and frames the request as being only about water service for these 36 units, that framing does not align with the broader context. The financial realities of the property suggests that additional development into Orange County is to be pursued. Redevelopment under new UDO standards or increased rents would be the most likely mechanisms to recoup costs associated with annexation and infrastructure investment. Property owners are not operating charitable enterprises, and it would be unreasonable to assume that new costs will not be passed along. Whether or not annexation proceeds, rent increases are possible, but there are currently no enforceable assurances that link this annexation petition to the preservation of affordability or to any measurable community benefit. While up to 87 tenants could be displaced at any time under existing conditions, the ability to describe these units as NOAA is likely to erode once the costs associated with utility expansion and ongoing service are passed through to tenants. If basic questions lead to inconsistent explanations, it is fair for the community and this council to question how and why decisions are being framed. There is no failing infrastructure, and there is no urgency to this approval. I am asking council to clearly articulate what evidence of community benefit supports approval of this request and how that benefit is distinguished from what already exists today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, I have John Brown.
Mr. Mayor, there's no John Brown in the queue.
All right, Catherine Olive.
Good evening. I am here.
Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. My name is Catherine Olive, and I live at 5821 Mount Sinai Road, about Durham, about 1,000 feet from the Curly Gardens complex. So tonight I'm going to ask you to defer action on the Curly Gardens annexation. And the reason is that the planning staff reports describe this project to supply city water to 36 units plus a laundry room. However, internal emails obtained through the public records dated June 2025 proved that a larger 84-unit project is planned. In November, the owner's attorney, Mr. Patrick Biker, personally confirmed this larger build-out plan with me. But even earlier, an email thread from June between the owner, Leah Bergman, and the city and county staff confirmed that this has been a plan from the start. While the official annexation submission stays silent on the expansion issue, these emails confirm an 84-unit plan stretching into the Orange County rural buffer and all intended to be served by the City of Durham utilities. However, your own staff report includes language to extend the water line to the boundaries to allow for future extension, despite repeated assertions that this is limited to Durham County only and to 36 units with no additional units being added. While this allows for future extension, if the owner claims that there is no future project, which is what the forms say, the 6-inch pipe diameter and the staff's own language prove this is a placeholder for a larger expansion. In other words, we're being gaslighted. Curly Gardens is rare, naturally occurring, deeply affordable housing. Annexation with the new proposed affordable covenants makes tenant displacement an absolute foreseeable outcome. I cannot see a community benefit, and I fear for my neighbours. The Policy 165 requires substantial benefit for annexation. If a regional project like this truly merits support, which I believe it does within your staff, both in Orange County and in Durham County, then it should be brought forward openly and not through some clever backroom piecemeal strategy. No one would reasonably object to supplying reliable water to the existing units. But I respectfully ask you to defer this action until there is a full disclosure and transparent description of the entire 84-unit plan and how the city utilities will in fact go into Orange County and its full impact on residents and the
Thank you,
public
Mr.
purse.
Chapman. Oh, that's some alarm. Um, sounds like a movie. Thank you, Miss Olive. That was Olive. Okay, next I have Ken Pugh. Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I do have some, thank you. I have some slides if they'll come up, please. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Ken Pugh. I am a Durham resident with my address on file, and I'm a former registered professional engineer. Next, please. Here is the Curly Gardens engineering drawing. The Durham Orange County line divides the right parcel, while the left parcel is entirely within Orange County. The purple area highlights the service connection to the water main. Next, please. Looking more closely at that connection, the pipe serving the apartments is 3 inches, while the private service connection under the road is shown as 6 inches. Next, please. At the Planning Commission hearing, Mr. Biker stated that I was referring to the sides of the public water line. He misunderstood me. Well, he is a lawyer. However, his engineer stated at the neighborhood meeting that the service connection could be 4 inches, while Public Works said only a 3-inch pipe is needed. Next, please. So why waste money on a 6-inch pipe if you only need a 3? Well, a 6-inch pipe carries 4 times the water of a 3-inch pipe. And the engineering drawing does show 2 parcels. Next, please. The laundry building is located primarily in Orange County, where it is taxed. The Curly Gardens water connection extends that service to that Orange County building. This pushes the urban growth boundary outward, a policy the City Council has unanimously opposed. This is a crack in the UGB. There is an alternative. Next, please. Next, please. The council could approve an annexation that excludes the laundry building. The facility could continue to operate using the existing well. The well would become for non-drinking water with fewer health requirements. This approach prevents the urban growth boundary from being compromised by a crack that could become a broken window. Place the annexation boundary 30 feet to the east of the Durham County line. Staff says you can do this. If this change is made, I support this annexation. I urge you to continue your commitment to the UGB by requiring this simple change before you approve it. I'm available for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I have Henrietta Sparacino.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I sure can. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Great, thanks a lot. I feel like this is a huge bait and switch. We have been baited into thinking, and you have been baited into thinking, and the planning department's been baited into thinking that Ms. Bergman and her family are just going to improve the water situation at the Curly Road Apartments. I don't think she's had a health department inspector come out and tell her that water is bad. I've seen nobody, no official person say the well is not working. Yes, it's true that when the electricity goes off, your well pump doesn't work. We are on a well. Everybody out here in Arrowhead is on a well. We all are used to that. If she's worried about that, she can buy a generator. But to have us think that this water situation all the way from the city at a huge cost is what she's really planning is, I'm sorry, I'm a little too skeptical of that. I've been around too long. I do think that what we need, I have some questions for her, and here's one of them. So nobody's come out to check on the well to see that it's okay, and we know it is, or she would have had complaints by now. Who is going to pay for the increase in the water cost? to those residents who are there now that are already on a budget that's straining them, I'm sure. Who's going to pay for that extra water cost? Is it going to be Ms. Bergman or the present renters? And also, she's already been to the Orange County Planning Department mentioning on their not comprehensive plan, but their a plan that she wants to do, the 48 additional units. She's already been there to talk to Orange County. And the last thing I'll say is that when I looked up the Orange County requirements for affordable housing and the Durham County requirements for affordable housing, they are almost exactly the same. They want it to be near where people work, which if you've got cars, that's fine, but a lot of people don't. They need to be near a grocery food situation where you can eat. They need to have transportation afforded, so they would have to be able to take transportation and not use cars. And this does none of that. It has been here since 1966 for a reason. It works. That little apartment complex, we've been here 42 years, has been there forever. And I just want you to rethink this and go back to the drawing board and really see who it's going to help besides the Bergman family. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I have Melora McCall. Hi, Melora.
There should be some slides. Okay, can you hear me now?
I sure can. Welcome. You have
Okay.
3 minutes.
Thank you. Melora McCall, address on file. Council recently rejected the Mariah Ridge annexation, which sought to extend water beyond the UGB to enable rural development. The process was marked by shifting narratives, evasive answers, and engagement that lacked basic respect for the people who live there, something Mayor Williams specifically criticized. Unfortunately, we're seeing a similar pattern again just up the road. Residents were told this request was to combat rising well maintenance costs, that no development plans were presented for adjacent land, that no new construction or expansion is planned, and that there have been no conversations with Orange County. Next slide, please. Public records obtained from the city confirm that a TIA was conducted to support Thomas and Hutton concept plans, proposing an expansion of 48 units into Orange County, served by Durham Utilities. My Orange County public records request remains unfulfilled for almost 9 weeks now. It's concerning to see concept plans proposing development outside the UGB, to read emails with communication to Orange County, and to learn these plans reached the city manager's office, all while the public is told these plans didn't exist or no discussions had happened. Long-range land use planning that materially alters development patterns should not occur outside the public process. Transparency should not be something the community has to extract through records requests. This proposal appears to take water across the UGB, providing city water to an Orange County building, perhaps a precedent-setting first step towards broader utility-enabled development beyond the UGB. This proposal would be considered differently if the records request didn't contradict what residents have been told at neighborhood meetings. The inconsistencies raise legitimate concerns about whether we have a full picture and accurate understanding of the planning vision for Curly Gardens, and whether critical information has been withheld in ways that limit meaningful public engagement. When residents are told there are no future plans, yet records show coordination and concept planning with county officials, it undermines public trust and impairs the community's ability to participate at the appropriate time. Without transparency, residents cannot reasonably anticipate or engage in future public processes, such as amendments to the joint planning agreement or modifications to a consent judgment that could materially affect land use outcomes. If this annexation is a stepping stone towards future development into a neighboring jurisdiction, that context belongs in today's decision, not deferred until later. Those growth objectives do not align with the adopted plans, and modifications to a consent judgment do not resolve conflicts with the UGB. It isn't a substitute for that kind of public engagement. Notably, the second modification to the consent judgment occurred without a public hearing, and impacted property owners weren't notified of a change. There is information on the record from the applicant indicating that this annexation is part of a broader effort to change land use patterns beyond the UGB. Residents are advocating for good growth planning and full disclosure. Decisions become arbitrary without a complete factual record, and too often residents are forced to assemble the record themselves. Transparency should not begin only after a community speaks. It should be the starting point. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is fun.
That is, Laura, I know.
I feel like I'm in the movies.
All right, thank you so much. Those are all the speakers that I have signed up. Yeah, those are all the speakers. And do we have any applicants that would like to respond on Leah or Patrick?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, we had a very similar public hearing in front of the Planning Commission, and that occurred on December the 9th. I want to also express that our team has been very transparent. We met with the city administration starting on March 4 of 2025 regarding the laundry building and the need to run water to that. The buildings, the water meter and the water feed are in Durham County. But overall, I want to stress that most of these speakers, perhaps all of them, delivered similar comments to the Planning Commission. And after hearing that discussion, there was a deliberation by the Planning Commission, and all 11 planning commissioners on December the 9th voted to recommend approval. It's no secret that Leah Bergman and her team has met with Orange County commissioners, met with the Orange County Planning Director to discuss potential development. We have nothing to hide. Nothing was ever submitted. We had discussions with commissioners and the planning director, and nothing ever moved forward. So what is before the council tonight is what the Planning Commission looked at and unanimously recommended approval for. Leah, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
May I ask a follow-up question, Mr. Barker?
Yeah,
Mayor?
of course. Yes, council member.
So can you just clarify that on May 13th, 2025, there was no site plan submitted to Orange County in regards to the future development of this property?
It was a concept plan. It was not a formal site plan. It was simply something to explore the concept of developing multifamily in the adjacent property in Orange County. Other than that, it was not a formal site plan submission. It was simply a discussion item.
Okay. And do you all want to provide any address outside of the Orange County connection, any of what the opponents have said in regards to who's paying for it? Is this going to be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like Leah to
Councilmember,
address that.
thank you, Councilmember Burris. I would love to, and I apologize, I was muted earlier. I would like to make several points with regards to affordability. The prior owners of Curly Gardens did not accept housing choice vouchers. We accept housing choice vouchers. We are the largest private housing provider in Durham County, in Durham, that takes housing choice vouchers. So we have no problems with affordability. I can tell you it is insanely expensive to maintain a community well. And that is one of my reasons for asking to run the water down there. The testing on a community well is very expensive, and it also does leave the community vulnerable to water outages, to power outages, and to not have their water. Should we seek to change density or to do anything with regards to development other than requesting the annexation? That, as you all know, would have to go through the process. That would go through community meetings, that would go through planning meetings. And I have done this. Should I seek to do this, I can't tell you that I would or I would not. I very much have done many developments in Durham and in other communities, and I always do it listening to the community members, what level of affordability they want. Some people really want a lot of affordability. Some people don't. I would not bring something to a planning commission or to a city council that had not been vetted, and I would have tried to have make it work for everybody involved. So again, with regards to affordability, we accept vouchers. That's a change from the prior owner. And we try and very much be positive members of the community.
Okay. Alex, are there any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Councilmember Burrs.
So can you tell us, back to you, Ms. Bergman, and thank you so much for engaging our questions. So have there been any recent water outages in that area with the well? And like, can you tell, like, has that been impacted by the recent storms and what that looked like for you all, or the impact that it had on the residents that are currently residing in these dwellings?
Thankfully, it has not, but it makes me very nervous.
All right. So, Councilmember Kopak.
Yes, thank you. I was curious, this could be for staff or the applicant, to understand this question around pipe size and the size of the pipe, and, is that to serve the laundry? Could you shine any light on that question from the resident, from Mr. Pugh, about the purpose of the pipe size?
So the main water line running down Curly Road is an 8-inch line. The line is on the other side of Curly Road from this site. So they have to go underneath Curly Road to connect to the site from the water main. That is a 6-inch pipe going under the road in consultation with our infrastructure review team. They do not allow 3-inch pipes to go underneath the road. It needs to be bigger than that. So a 6-inch pipe was used here. It would then connect to a 3-inch pipe, and it is 3 and 2-inch pipes serving the remainder of the entirety of the site, with a 2-inch pipe going to the laundry facility.
Okay. Thank you for that. Also just want to understand concerns around the potential for future development. I definitely, understand here these concerns. I think part of it is, a sense from residents that they're, that a concept was submitted, and that, there's been a lack of transparency at times about what has been discussed. I'd like to understand, if this, if this annexation happens, does that allow then this potential development to happen? Or what is the process that would have to be gone through in order to allow that to happen in the future?
So, and I spoke with our infrastructure review folks about this to get confirmation from them. The no buildings in Orange County could be served with utilities from Durham without first amending the consent decree, which would require a vote from the Durham City Council as well as the town of Chapel Hill. It would then need concurrence from the judge to amend that consent decree. Then they would need to go through an annexation and rezoning process, not just a straight annexation, because those are currently under Orange County jurisdiction and Orange County zoning. So that would need to occur, and that would happen through a public process like this one is having, with public notice, and other public notice requirements. So there is not a way to serve it with Durham utilities without going through those processes. If they were to request development using Orange County zoning and Orange County development review, they can do that, and they would need to follow Orange County's requirements and Orange County's public notice, and we would not be involved.
Okay.
May I make a clarification though on that? Sorry to interrupt you, Councilman Kobach. Mr. Kane, am I correct though that if I would like, I think Orange County water or Orange water is like 2 miles away, or it's very far away, Councilman Kopak. So should I at any point in time or another developer want to add buildings, you all will have the say in that. There is no Orange County utilities anywhere near this site.
I cannot speak to exactly how far those utilities are, but I feel confident that Durham utilities are much closer, would be much less expensive to extend. But again, there would be no way to extend Durham's utilities to serve the site without first an annexation agreement from the city of Durham, which would need to be approved by the Durham City Council through this process.
Thank you. And then my last question at this point, I see I have colleagues in the queue, is, have we heard comments from any of the residents of this community? It's a lot of folks talking kind of on their behalf, whether the owner of the property or neighbors. I'm just curious, has anyone spoke with folks who live in this community and gotten any input from them?
I have not been contacted by anybody who lives in the community itself.
Okay.
I can't speak to
Thank you.
others. Mhm.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cook.
Thank you. I just want to piggyback on a couple of things, but the first question I wanted to ask is there was a comment made that we could do the annexation without the laundry facility staff. Could you just address whether that is the case?
I think theoretically that is possible. Whether the applicant would want to include that possibility is up to them, but I think that would in theory be possible.
Would it be possible tonight or no?
You would need to in your motion have something in the UEA, in the utility extension agreement, that prohibits the extension of the utilities to that laundry facility. And there are a variety of ways you could go about this. You could either say we do not extend the utilities to the laundry facility. You could say that no changes to the laundry facility. In other words, the laundry facility could not be expanded without having to, reapprove a utility extension agreement. There's a variety of ways you could go about doing that, but I believe in theory it could be done, yes.
Okay, thank you. And one more question while you're here, Aaron. The first speaker tonight said that y'all had previously requested documentation about affordability moving forward and that request was not answered. Is that the case, or can you talk about what happened there?
Yeah, we've had oral confirmation, as Ms. Bergman has given you, that they do accept housing choice vouchers, and that we would consider that, of course, in support of affordable housing, but I'm not aware of any written documentation to that effect.
May I make a clarification?
Can I continue my question? Thank you. And so would it be enough to accept vouchers now, or would there need to be a commitment for continuing accepting vouchers? What is the
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that there's no way to really do that through an annexation, right? They're not rezoning, so there's no development plan, there's no existing development plan on the site. As was mentioned, the buildings were built 60 years ago. So we don't really have a mechanism to proffer that affordability in the future.
Okay, so the determination is just made on documentation that vouchers, one possible way for that determination would be that vouchers are currently accepted.
Well, the questions were asked previously by members of the community as to how we considered this proposal for expedited review at the staff level. And we had oral but not written confirmation that they accepted housing choice vouchers, and looking at the rents charged, they certainly are in line with those that we would want to see in an affordable housing proffer. So we provided a expedited review.
Okay, Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. So that was all information that they provided orally, and we didn't get documentation of that. And that's enough to bypass the
Well, we're not,
regular time.
I wouldn't say bypass. It simply increases our review, it decreases our review times by a couple of weeks.
Okay. Okay, I have a couple of other questions, but I think, Ms. Bergman, did you want to respond to the documentation part?
I believe Mr. Kane got to it. No one asked us. It's not that someone has asked us to formally produce something and we withheld it. I was just going to make the same point that Mr. Kane did, which is that I believe the only question was around expedited review. But I think, I'm an open book as to whether it's affordable and what we do in the affordable community. I have not withheld any information from I wanted to make it was clear that there was no withheld information from the planning department or to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to follow up on Councilmember Kopach's statements previously about the transparency issue. Can y'all just help me understand, this is a staff question again, like what was requested of staff around the additional units and what information went out that was different than what has been now put out by email exchanges?
So my team and my staff has not had a conversation about additional units in Orange County. My understanding is that the applicant had meetings and contacted Orange County staff about potential development over there, but there was no application has been submitted to Durham for any development over on in Orange County. We had a pre-submittal meeting with the applicant's representatives and informed them that that would be on the other side of the UGB and all of the other issues with crossing the Orange County line, and encouraged them to stay on the Durham County side of the line, and they did so.
Okay. Those are all my questions for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Oh, Baker.
I was
Oh, okay. Your hand went down again.
I just loaded real quick. So yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, colleagues. I really appreciate the conversation here. Appreciate the discussions. I think transparency is really important. We received a lot of emails from constituents about this case. So I think the conversation about, what are possible future plans here in the site? What about the laundry facility? Those kind of things are really good. I think it's worth saying that extending city water is always good. Having more reliable service in a city is always good. We're a growing city, so I like that piece. And I can also say, as our council's representative to the housing authority, it is really difficult to get landlords to accept housing choice vouchers. And I don't have any written documentation, but I know by reputation that Leah and Bergman Rentals absolutely does accept housing choice vouchers, which is an important piece of providing affordable, safe units for our residents. So I appreciate that piece. I just have one question also that came up by email. This is a question for staff. Aaron, if you could respond to this. So there was a question about some conversation about a conflict of interest involving a city appointee that took place at the Planning Commission meeting. Can you clarify that issue?
Sure, yes. One person made a claim for conflict of interest of one commissioner. In consultation with the chair and the vice chair of the Planning Commission, it was determined there was not and with the commissioner themselves, it was determined that there was not a conflict of interest based on the information provided, and that was the determination made.
So you've run that by the city attorney that has been put to bed, or is there any?
We believe that's been put to bed. Yes, we've run that by the city attorney, and there is no conflict of interest. Attorney Rayberg may be able to speak to that more.
Yeah, Attorney Rayberg.
We're not we don't consider there to be an actual conflict of interest in this case.
Hey, Councilmember Rist, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Both Aaron Miles and I have looked at the suggestions that there is a conflict of interest here, and we do not agree that that's the case. We don't see a conflict of interest within the meaning of the applicable statutes.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. That's all my questions for right now, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Baker.
Thank you all. Lots of great questions and comments. I actually had several of those questions, and many of them have been answered. I do think that there are a lot of legitimate concerns around, if we want to kind of take a higher level approach here, growth management in general. I think that there are a lot of legitimate anxieties around potential growth, especially in this part of our collective community, the community of Durham County, and Orange County. This is land, and this is a part of part of our region that people really value, the open space, the forest, and all of the work that Chapel Hill, Carborough, Orange County have done collectively to make sure that they are growing inward and not outward. And I know a lot of people have been watching decisions being made, in the past in Southeast Durham, worried about something like that happening in other areas. So I think that is a very I understand that concern and where people are coming from. I also I don't know the ins and outs of all of the exchanges, but I do understand the anxieties and concerns around transparency, as was mentioned by several of my colleagues. Being told one thing or understanding one thing and seeing something else. I think that is not something that we want to see. So, I mean, when I first saw this case, it seemed cut and dry. I think that there are some interesting issues that have been raised. One question that came up from one of the speakers that I'm just curious about, not something that I've heard before. One of the speakers suggested modifying the boundary line so that it wraps around a building on the county line, and said that staff had explored that. Can you just speak to that? Has that come up in conversation? And is it something that you have explored?
No, it has not come up in conversation with the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so again, appreciate all the comments. I do in general believe that there is a community benefit to and good policy in annexing an existing building that is directly adjacent to municipal limits that's already being serviced by sewer. Understand that the well has been working, and so I think in general that it is good policy to annex an existing building that is on county land that is directly adjacent outside of municipal limits. I believe that it's good policy in general to annex those properties into municipal limits. There are also these other concerns that have been raised. I appreciate Councilmember Kopak's kind of clarifying and getting some additional, and Aaron Kane responding to this question of, is this opening floodgates, and what would have to happen next for additional development outside. All that being said, I do think that there are just some potential additional questions that we might need answered. And I also am very intrigued by Councilmember Cook's suggestion for modifying the language for limiting the utility extension agreement. I understand that's not something that we can do right away, and we want to get the language right. So I would consider making a motion. I would consider moving ahead with delaying this case for a couple cycles, if my colleagues were open to that.
Mr. Kopak. We'll come back to the consideration, Mr. Baker.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I guess my questions would be, one, what is the purpose of the laundry and the importance to the applicant and to the tenants to having this pipe run out to the laundry? And then I have a second question, which is trying to understand what the purpose of removing the laundry would be if extending the utilities to the laundry does not seem in any way to open the doors for future development using those utilities, without one of the processes described. So I guess it's sort of just trying to see clarity on those two sides of it. And would the applicant be open to that?
Should Aaron speak first? Should Mr. Kane speak first, or should I speak first?
I'm comfortable either way. Why don't you go?
My mind's a bit in the weeds right now about where, so as you all know, water, my gut reaction is that if the laundry is still being serviced by the well, then that means that building is being serviced by the well without speaking to an engineer. But I'm just thinking that then I still have to maintain those pumps, test that water, and incur the expense of running the city water line down. So I actually believe that could potentially increase the cost of the property. But again, I'm speaking those without speaking, I have a degree in finance and accounting and not in civil engineering or engineering water services. My second thought is a bit, again, on the weeds. When you are when you are in the county, but on sewer service, the rates are significantly higher. If somebody know, or it's always been explained to me, my sewer bill out there is quite high because I'm not on city water. And if maybe somebody in planning or is more knowledgeable than I am, but I believe that proposal would really be increasing the overall expense. But I welcome comments and feedback to my comments. But I can just tell you that the charges, I'm looking for the right word right now, and if anybody has it, I'd love it. But if you're not on city water, the usage rate for the sewer is significantly higher. It is my second concern.
Yeah, my understanding, if I may, Councilmember Kopek, Patrick Biker here, that has to pay the double rate. Carly Gardens has to pay double the sewer rate for serving these 36 families. And so upon annexation, we would pay the same rate that everybody else is paying for water and sewer rather than paying a double sewer rate. And I do want to emphasize that it was back on March the 4th that Lee and I met with the city administration, specifically raised the location of the laundry building, and our understanding from staff in public works, water management, and planning is that it met the definition of met all the policy guidelines of the city to provide water connection to the laundry building because the water meter and the feed into the building are in Durham County and not in Orange County. So we did raise that issue specifically. I appreciate the question.
Okay. Yeah, so on the second question, unless staff has more on that first one, it's just trying to understand, perhaps to my colleagues, perhaps to staff, what the positive benefit would be of removing the laundry from the application, for the annexation request.
Is that a question to staff?
I think it could be staff, but also to my colleagues who proposed it to maybe understand their thinking around it. So why don't I start with, Councilmember Cook, who first kind of reinforced that question from community, and then staff, if you have additional thoughts, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I would love clarification from staff. My understanding, the reason I asked it was that it seemed like it would kind of fix the issue of the potential to go over the urban growth boundary, not necessarily anything else. It sounded like that was where folks were going with that, but maybe staff can help me understand. Or potentially we can call back up the person who stated that.
So I don't want to speak for residents who spoke. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. One of the concerns I have heard is that extension of the water line to the laundry facility, because the laundry building is partially in Orange County, would open up the Orange County parcels to city water services and therefore facilitate development of those parcels. That is not a concern on staff's position. Staff's position in consultation with the Water Management Department is that a portion of the building and the intake and the meter would be in Durham County, therefore the building could be served. However, no other building in Orange County could be served with water or sewer without annexation into the city of Durham, as well as a change in the consent decree that you all would have to vote on as well. So they would be limited only to serving this one laundry facility. The building couldn't be expanded. It is what it is, and it stays that way unless you all make a choice in the future to annex those parcels and change the consent decree.
Thank you. That's helpful.
All right. Are there any, yeah, Mr. Baker?
So I just want to reiterate a point because I do think this is a big question. Any additional development outside of this existing building, it would have to go through numerous public processes. It would have to be seen, discussed, open to community input, voted on in order for anything else to happen.
Any development that used Durham utilities would have to. In theory, they could develop something under Orange County regulations.
Sure. Yeah.
And go through Orange County's processes, and to build anything other than what they're allowed by right, which I believe, but please don't quote me on this, I believe is 2-acre lots, single family residential 2-acre lots, I think is what they're allowed by right in the rural buffer right now. Anything else in Orange County would need to go through an Orange County rezoning process.
And again, Mr. Kane, just confirm. So then if there were the desire to have Durham water on some expanded site, we would have to then annex that parcel, right?
You would have to annex.
That involves the whole like consent decree and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, they would need to amend the consent decree. You would need to vote to amend the consent decree. Town of Chapel Hill would need to vote to amend, and then we could start, or the applicant, I should say, the applicant can start annexation proceedings and rezoning proceedings because you're changing it from Orange County zoning to City of Durham zoning, and all of that would go through the public process like we're seeing here.
Thank you.
This is not, I know we're in a public hearing for this one, but this will be the same process, Aaron, as we did previous to Mariah Ridge. Is that correct? But it was like done way back in the day.
Yes, it would follow the same process as Mariah Ridge. You all will need to take a public vote to change the consent decree. So would Chapel Hill. The judge would need to agree, and then you would start then a separate process would start for annexation.
So that's helpful. So I was on the planning commission side of that Mariah Ridge vote. And then I know it went through another process in front of some of my colleagues here. It seemed that in that case, there was the annexation that was pursued. And that was, if I understand, voted down. Planning commission and council.
Yes. And we would do the same thing. I'm sorry. We would do the same thing in this case where we would highlight to you all that it is also outside the urban growth boundary. And therefore,
then there was
policy to annex it.
And then there was a consent decree process that was pursued that came before council at work session, which then council was asked to vote on it then, or what was the
We
process that
did. We
happened
voted
there?
on it. We approved that. Correct, Aaron? We approved that, but we declined the actual.
Yes. Yes, and I don't know the dates. It preceded my joining back with the department in December of 22, I believe. So the consent decree was amended prior to starting annexation and rezoning processes. That was approved, but the council did deny the annexation.
Okay, thank you for taking the time to give me some of that history. So in this case, I thought I heard you say pretty clearly that there would be this consent decree process, and then the council would also have to vote for annexation for something outside our urban growth boundary, to extend utilities to a new development, unless there's this Orange County process.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Ooh. So at this time, I will, excuse me, at this time, if there are no other comments, I will declare the public hearing closed and back before the council. No, I'm sorry. Public hearing is closed. I can't remember if I did or not. Okay. And I'll go ahead and call for the question. I'll entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance annexing Curly Gardens into the city of Durham and to authorize the city manager to enter into a utility extension agreement with Lee Ray Bergman LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Then moved and probably seconded, eventually. Madam Clerk, please call the roll, call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Baker,
Nay.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
and Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-1 with Councilmember Baker voting no.
Used to the suspense and the voting affirmations. Also, I'll entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance by taking property out of the residential suburban multifamily county jurisdiction and establishing the same as residential suburban multifamily city jurisdiction.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and probably seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
and Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
The motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And I'll entertain a motion to adopt a consistency statement as required by North Carolina General Statute Section 160D-605.
So moved.
Second.
The moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And okay, I thought I read the wrong motion, but I think we're good. All right, last item. Consolidated annexation 3600 Pine View Circle. Staff report.
Mayor Williams and honorable council members, good evening. I am Peyton Burgess with the Planning and Development Department, and I am happy to be here with you virtually tonight. A request for utility extension agreement, voluntary annexation, and initial zoning map change has been received from Gurdeep Sidhu, an individual landowner for one parcel of land totaling 1.88 acres and located at 3600 Pineview Circle. This annexation petition is not contiguous to the primary corporate limits. The current zoning is residential suburban 20, county jurisdiction. The applicant proposes to change this designation to residential suburban 20, city jurisdiction to connect to city water and sewer. The properties are currently designated recreation and open space on the place type map. The proposed RS20 zoning is generally inconsistent with the designated use shown on the place type map. If the proposed zoning is approved, staff would recommend a change to the place type map to designate the property as established residential. As part of this annexation petition, the applicant is not seeking a change in the underlying zoning district. A direct translational zoning is one in which the existing county zoning is translated to the identical city zoning district upon the annexation of the property into city limits. A translational zoning does not include a development plan, and any future development may proceed according to what the zoning would allow. As a reminder, City Council may elect to deny the voluntary annexation petition but approve the utility extension agreement on the grounds that the proposed annexation is revenue negative and the parcel is not contiguous to the current city limits. Council has discretion to do this under City Code 70-129-9. Thank you. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any technical questions for staff?
Actually, I do have one.
Go ahead.
Ms. Burgess, could you, there was an issue on this case about the cost benefit analysis turning negative, which I guess violates one of our policies. I know it's a marginal number. Can you tell me, I don't know if you did that cost benefit or who does that analysis. I'm just curious why, because we often do cases like this. So why in this case was I think as I recall, let me get my notes here, because I looked at the analysis there, and it seems like there was it seems like a solid waste charge that sort of drove things up higher than the expected revenue. So can you say why, in this case, why the solid waste seems so expensive and causing the deficit there?
I can't speak for that department, but just kind of in general, looking at the map, since this isn't contiguous to the city limits, it could be that they have to go out of their way and incur additional expenses that they wouldn't normally charge. That would be my guess.
I mean, because the city is right across the street. I think across Pickett Road. So it's not like the city's. It's just right across the street. So that so obviously we're serving solid waste across the street. So I don't know if there's anyone on staff on the call that can answer that question. That'd be very helpful.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have anybody from those services.
We don't have anybody from we don't have anybody from Environment and Street Services, but I would imagine that is the issue. Even though it's as the crow flies, not that far, it would be a decent distance for them to drive their trucks to this area, to this neighborhood, to just serve one or two houses that would be required under annexation. However, if you extended the utilities but did not annex the property, then those other services that the city usually provides would not need to be provided.
Okay, that's helpful now. I'll we may return to that. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. Is there a representative for this case? Is there? All right, there we go.
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome. How much
Yes.
time do you need?
Probably 5 minutes. I think everyone is tired. Good evening, Mayor Williams and Council.
Madam Clerk, please place 7 minutes on the clock.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Williams and council members. My name is Gurdeep Sidhu. My address is on file and I'm the applicant. I'd like to give a shout out to Ms. Peyton Burgess, Mr. Aaron Kane, and Mr. Andrew Lester for their excellence in everything they do for the planning department and for the city of Durham. My presentation is in two parts. Part one, I'm going to describe the property and the infrastructure. And part two, I'm going to address why we have petitioned for our property to be annexed. So part one, the closest landmark to 3600 Pineview Circle is Mark Jacobson Toyota. Pickett Road runs parallel to and north of 15501. 3600 Pineview Circle is corner lot on intersection of Pickett Road and Pineview Circle. So that's a general geographic layout of where this land is. Pineview Circle is a paved road with public access. City water and sewer runs all along Pineview Circle and along Pickett Road. Utility poles exist on the north and south end of our property. There is a 1600 square feet house on the 1.88 acre lot. This house was built in 2023. Our son lives in that house. UEA agreement is in place and it is recorded on the deed for 3600 Pineview Circle. It states that we have to bear all future expenses when connecting to city water and sewer. When building the house, the 1600 square feet house, we only cleared 0.2 acres. 1.6 acres of land is left untouched. Wildlife continues to flourish. Since we built the house, we mow and maintain the public area on the intersection of Pickett Road and Pineview, which on paper belongs to the county, and so the city mowers never got there to mow the lawn. So since we built it, we maintain it. Now, part two, we have petitioned for annexation because we would like to build our house on the same lot next to our son. Kind of a multi-generational living concept. In order to build the house, we need a second water meter. UEA is already in place. There is no financial cost to the city. The new water meter will only be permitted after 1.88 acres is subdivided. And lot cannot be subdivided only after 1.8 acres is annexed by the city. So you have to annex it, then subdivide it, then issue the water meter. Or alternatively, like suggested by planning department, all we want is a water connection. You can choose not to annex it. We already use GFL for our waste collection and we'll continue to use them. Ms. Erlene Thomas has concluded that traffic impact analysis is not needed. There are 6 homes on this side of Pineview Circle. 1 additional house will not affect traffic. So in closing, the end goal of this application is a new water connection. UEA is in place. There is no financial cost to the city. I respectfully petition for your recommendation of approval and sincerely hope you will uphold Planning Commission's 9:2 approval on December 9th. Thanks for your consideration. That's it.
Thank you.
That's all. Yep.
Thank you. Are there any, well, okay, that's the only speaker I have for this item. So therefore, I'll declare the public hearing closed and back before the council. Colleagues, are there any questions? Yes, Councilmember Cook.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't find the button fast enough. Mr. Sindhu, could you just repeat what you said at the end? What I think I heard you say was that it was okay if it was just water. Is that accurate? I mean, I understand that you're asking for the annexation as well.
Yeah, so the annexation I was asking is because currently the way the regulations are, we cannot get a water meter unless the council waives that requirement. When I met with the department, the utilities department, I forget their exact term, but the way the process is laid out, the land has to be annexed, then it can be subdivided, and once it's subdivided, each additional lot gets a new water meter. Alternatively, the council can say, has the option, just like the planning department also suggested, you have the option to say, okay, we don't want to annex, but we give you the water connection. All we need is the water connection. That's what we're
Okay.
asking for.
Thank you. And staff, can you just confirm that the subdividing is still doable if just the water connection, just for my peace of mind?
Yes, yes. As long as the UEA is approved, they could still do that.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that is really giving me pause here is, and I'm gonna echo what Councilmember Riss said, is that with the negative cost benefit analysis, I mean, I wouldn't want it to be me to be at the end of my shift having driven a very, very long route and then have to drive an extra 15 minutes to go all the way around and come in to pick up the waste of two houses. And I just don't really, without having somebody here that's able to speak to that, I'm feeling uncomfortable about the annexation. I know usually we're kind of just like, well, we might as well do the annexation. But in this case, it really doesn't seem like it is a benefit. It sounds like the applicant would be fine with just water. I think that that's probably what I'm leaning towards right now. And if, I don't know, Manager Ferguson, if you have anything or, and I'm sorry, I can't remember since the reorganization who's over solid waste that's not called solid waste anymore. If anybody could speak to that piece, that would be helpful for me.
Thank you, Councilmember Cook, and I understand the question. So I would look to Marvin Williams and his staff who report to Deputy City Manager Probst for more context around the question. I've been looking at the maps as you guys have been discussing it to try and see if I can draw a conclusion, and I would want to get more information from them before I could answer with more certainty about why that analysis was made. So regretfully, I don't have that information today, but we would be happy to get that information for council if council would like to consider that for some future part of the decision.
Okay, thank you. Future, if there is something like that, it would be helpful to have somebody on. For me, without the information tonight, I don't really feel like I need a continuance on this case, but I think I would be leaning towards solely extending the utilities and not doing the full annex. But I'll be interested to hear what my colleagues have to say.
Thank you. Councilmember Rist.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I agree with Councilman Cook. I think this is a good case. This is an infill project. I think it makes sense. I have no concerns about traffic. But I do, the cost benefit does sort of is something that sort of gives me pause. Not only is it a couple $100 negative in the first or the second year, but then in the out years, we're talking like as much as $29,000 a year, which I think that's probably a lot for the rest of the city to subsidize for one lot. Having said that, Mr. Manager, I wonder if you could also respond to this question. I know that I imagine when you do these cost benefit analyses, you have different departments inputting data. And so like solid waste shows increasing costs over time. It does show that the property tax revenues stay flat for the next, like, whatever, 7-10 years. I appreciate that optimism there. Usually those taxes tend to go up over time. So I don't know if it's different departments that are putting data in there, because that's one thing that it feels like I get that costs would go up for solid waste over time. But I also imagine that on some level, property taxes are also going to over time go up as well. So it feels like maybe a little bit of a unfair comparison if the costs are going up, revenue's not going up at the same time in that analysis. But it seems like that may be a little bit suspect in terms of, or not suspect, but just maybe a little bit of an assumption that's not quite fully formed there.
Right. So I do know that it's actually our budget management services departments that collects that information from departments. I think different departments have used various analyses to try and present this information. I would need to take your questions back to Budget Management Services to kind of vet with them how some of those assumptions are made, and we'd be happy to report out on it at a future meeting, but I don't believe they're available to talk about that formula tonight.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I feel like Councilmember Cook, I think in the absence of more information, I'm happy to extend the water, but I think maybe the annexation with the full services maybe is not, for me, is not quite comfortable right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Kolpak.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I want to thank the applicant and also give thanks to my colleague, Councilmember Cook, for sort of highlighting that option, that possibility, and the applicant's flexibility to accept that as well, to just extend the water without annexation. It seems relatively straightforward. I also, though, take note that this property, this part of the city and county sort of, abuts, a wildlife corridor. And so I also appreciate, not having the annexation, because having it could place additional pressure in the future into that area. And so this sort of alleviates that concern, by just extending the water. So I appreciate that recommendation, and that's what I would be in support of. In addition to the great comments around, city services and the routes that might have to be driven.
I'll be delighted if you would, afford me a water connection. I mean, that is the best outcome for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Yeah, appreciate the comments and questions here. One question for staff that I have is, it looks like there is a city water line that runs almost like a semicircle in this little neighborhood. Do other lots in this neighborhood have access to city water?
Yes, sir. Everyone is on. Yeah, sorry.
Everyone on the street has access to city water except for this lot?
Yes. I mean, the house that we built in 2023 is also connected to city water and sewer. But we need one more water meter. In order to make a second house, we need a second water meter.
Okay. I only raise that because, I do think that this is how, obviously things come to us when there are case by case basis. This discretionary decisions, we can say yes or no, or yes, but some other way. I don't think it's generally a good policy to extend water to parcels outside of city limits. But in this case, we are looking at a parcel that is on a street that is already accessing city water, I believe. I think staff would tell me if that were not the case. And so we're really just kind of filling in a little hole on kind of for better or for worse, a policy that was implemented the way that it was in this one little pocket of Durham, which we've seen in other parts of Durham as well. But I do generally think it is a good practice to not extend to significant areas water outside of city limits. We do it. It happens. We make case by case decisions here. But given the fact that we have water already being accessed by lots in this little neighborhood, I leaning towards Councilmember Cook's proposal.
All right. So, yeah, Councilmember Burris.
Just it seems like, well, I won't say what it seems, but for those, Councilmember Cook, can you explicitly state which motions you want to move forward and which ones you do not? So just have clarifying, because it feels as though some know more than others, but just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
I'm so glad you asked that, because I literally just raised my hand to ask the exact same question. So I was just working off of what Miss Burgess said at the beginning, which was that we could choose to only extend water, so we could do the utilities agreement and not fully annex. But do I need to make that motion now, or do I do that as a modification on the motion as it's written? This might be an attorney question, or
Madam Attorney.
I want to get some input from staff because I don't remember how we've handled this before. There are criteria, obviously, for the city to extend utilities to properties that are not within the city limits. And the first motion is to annex, right? And it's a double motion. So I can't remember if we've actually had the council vote on that. If Peyton could, if she knows, weigh in, because I can't remember how we've done it before.
Arizona, Sarah Young.
Good evening, council members and Attorney Rayberg. I think in the past, in instances where this has happened, instead of reading the standard 3 motions, there has been a substitute or an alternative
substitute
motion
Okay.
made that is simply to approve the utility extension agreement instead of the traditional 3 motions.
Okay, yeah, so Councilmember Cook, it would just be a substitute motion on the first.
Okay.
And then do we continue with the other two?
Yeah.
No, you would not
no.
need the others because you would not have annexed. And so you don't need the annexation or the ordinance establishing zoning or the consistency statement.
Gotcha.
So just the utility extension.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Councilmember Baker.
Yeah, thank you. Is this, are there any concerns here? We're kind of making policy on the fly. And I think it's based on an issue that is pretty clear. Are there any concerns from staff? Is there a reason that this wasn't brought to us as kind of a clear option in the first place? Just curious to get staff's take on this.
Ultimately, it is to the council's discretion whether or not you want to annex something. Our, kind of directive for when we get a case like this is to move forward with annexation. In this case, with water being in the surrounding neighborhood and those being, county properties already and it not being contiguous to the city limits, also considering it's surrounded by floodplain, if this was annexed and created that sort of satellite in the city, I don't think that it would connect to city limits in the near future, just because again the surrounding properties have water and it's surrounded by floodplain on the other side.
So do you think it's a good idea to go this way?
Sorry, I see Sarah jumping on. Sarah, would you like to answer this?
Sure, I was jumping on to clarify something else, but I will say that the way that this portion of city code is written, it says that council may excuse the annexation, which forces an applicant to ask for the annexation first, which is why we have to package it this way. I do think that that carve out exists for a good reason in city code. And I think that this is, in my professional opinion, an acceptable place to use that exception.
Thank you.
All right. So just to be clear, what I'm asking for, we're asking for just the utility extension in the motion.
Well, I wonder if maybe the attorney perhaps frame that for us to make sure we get it right.
Right, so it would just be a motion to authorize the city manager to enter into a utility extension agreement with the City Living Trust trustee.
That suffices.
All right. Well,
And I'm sorry, the planning director. Yeah. The planning director put that in the chat. Thank you, Madam Planning Director.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. If there are no other comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the city manager to enter into a utility extension agreement with the City Living Trust trustee.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Member Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Riss.
Aye.
That's 6-0.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
You.
And thank you for giving us water.
No.
Got it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I believe that's all I have to do, right? Mayor, Madam Attorney?
Yes, sir. That disposes of the item.
All right, so before we close out, guys, I do have one more item number one. I would like to entertain a motion to appoint Reve Ems representing arts and culture and James Bullock representing facility management to the Durham Performing Arts Center Oversight Committee with the terms to expire March 1st, 2029.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Aye.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Cook,
Aye.
Councilmember Kopak,
Aye.
Councilmember Rist.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes 6-0.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. I think we will be relieving the state of emergency tomorrow, hopefully, but we should be back in person on Thursday. Thank you all for a great meeting. Now you can all have a break.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Thanks,
day.
everybody.